Hello everybody, this is Jason.
And I'm Joanna.
And welcome back to another episode of Iron Mission. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about this, not the bike, but the seat, because we've gotten some questions about it, both in the last video and just when we're riding around. And what is this seat?
It's the Saddleman Road Sofa.
Now, funny story about this seat. It's on my bike.
Yeah.
You wanted it.
Yes, I did. I really wanted it. And I wanted it for Sturgis. Did I not?
You did. And
what did you tell me? You're like, oh, we can go to Sturgis because you know what? They have a bunch of people there. They're going to have it at like Harley dealers. They're going to be able to put it on right away. It's going to be great.
And so we did that, and I wound up with the seat, and you did not.
Yes, funny.
Funny thing, however, it worked out in everybody's favor, and so we're going to be talking about this seat today. By the way, again, we bought this seat. It wasn't given to us. So hopefully we can give you a really honest review of this seat because it's a lot of money. Now, keep in mind, too, we ride a lot. We do, about 15,000 miles per year?
Yeah.
And between the two of us, we've done 3 Iron Butt Association rides. That's 1,000 miles in less than 24 hours. I've done 2 on 2 different seats. You've done 1 on the stock seat on your Road King. And so we're going to be looking at, is this seat actually worth the money? Now, the first thing is cost.
Yeah.
This is an expensive seat, especially when you get the backrest. I believe, if memory serves me correctly, it was right around $900. And I'm sure if you go online, you're going to see about that same price. That was with the backrest, the rider backrest, as well as the passenger backrest here. I chose to get the lattice stitching, which I really like. More on that in a few minutes. So we're going to rank these things based on 4 criteria: cost, comfort, durability, and
Looks.
Oh. Absolutely. So we're going to be looking at those 4 things. And so I figured we just start right with the cost because that's what most people want to know.
Yeah.
What does this cost? Well, again, I said it was around $900. So if we were to rank these things 1 out of 10, 10 being the awesomest and 1 being the not awesomest, if you're comparing the Road Sofa, this seat here, with the stock seat, I don't think there's any comparison here.
No, it's a pretty sweet looking seat.
It's a pretty sweet looking seat, but that's not the issue. The issue is the cost. And I would rank this probably in terms of cost like a 3 out of 10. It's expensive.
It is pricey.
Even if you get rid of the backrest situation and just go with the seat itself, you're still looking at around $700. So that is an expensive seat. And so for that perspective, I'm going to rank it a 3 out of 10. Now, your stock seat on your Road King,
it was free.
It was free. It came with the bike. So listen, at least in terms of the cost, it's got to be a 10 out of 10, right?
Yeah.
So 10 out of 10 for that. So right now, it sounds like the stock seat is a better value because free is always awesome, but there are other things to consider. And so the second thing that we should probably consider is let's talk a little bit about the durability of both of these seats. Now, this road sofa seat that I've had here, this thing we have had now, the Saddleman seat, for I think I put about 22,000 miles on this seat. We've had it for a couple of years. Durability wise, I would say it's held up very, very well. I mean, there are some very minor creasing things going on, but nothing very noticeable. I don't think the seat has faded all that much over those 22,000 miles. If I were to rank this seat, the Saddleman Road Sofa, I would give it at least probably an 8 out of 10. It's been really good. Absolutely no complaints. Maybe even a 9 out of 10. I'll go 9 out of 10 with this. So in terms of durability, 9 out of 10 in build quality.
Okay.
Now, your stock seat, where would you rank it?
Oh, way up there, 9 or 10. It's worn really great.
I would disagree with you there. I would
Really?
probably put it at maybe a 7 out of 10.
Why?
Because there is some fading, there is some creasing going on. And to be fair, on that seat, you've only put 15,000 miles on that seat.
True.
When you look at them as older versions, they tend not to look as nice once you have 5 or 6 years on those seats. And so that's why I would give it maybe a 6, maybe a 7.
6 to 7.
Yeah.
Well, keep in mind too that it's just a smooth surface, so any kind of scratch will probably be way more noticeable on that one than this one. This one's got some sweet stitching and stuff that might mask those little scratches.
That's a great point. The other thing to consider, and you brought this up because I completely forgot about it, even though I do it every time we go on a trip. With this lattice stitching, you absolutely must, and they supply a seat cover. You need to bring that with you. You do not want to have this seat exposed to rain.
Nope.
Because what will wind up happening is the rain droplets will get into the stitching of this seat. And if you don't have the cover, you're going to have a wet behind for your ride for the day. And so trust me, I found that out the hard way. There's been a couple times, even not with the rain, but if you go somewhere like last year, we went to a couple buddies of mine, we went to the Tail of the Dragon, and there was a couple mornings where there was a lot of dew, and that's kind of seeped into the seat. And sure enough, for the next couple hours, it was my behind that was absorbing all of that extra moisture. So yeah, so just they have a cover for it. Make sure you have that with you. You don't want rain on this thing because it is going to seep in. So I think one of the main reasons why people buy this seat is they look at it and they think,
that's sweet.
That's why you wanted it, right?
That's why I wanted it, yeah.
I was listening to her we just bought her Road King, and for a couple months, I really want this. And she would just show me pictures.
I want the seat.
Yeah. And I said, let's hold off. Your bike is brand new, and we'll take a look at it. And then what happened, the reason why I bought this seat is I actually had a Road Zeppelin, which is a story for another video. That seat was remarkably cool, but the Road Zeppelin was starting to tear on either side of that seat. And so by the time we got the Sturgis, I had at that point, I just been kind of taping it over, and it looked
awful.
Yeah, it looked pretty bad, but it was really comfortable, so I just stuck with it. And eventually we got the Sturgis. I'm like, you know what? I just want to replace this thing. I'm done. The seat is horrible looking, and so let me go ahead and replace it with this, the Road Sofa. And the reason why I did that is, one of the reasons why, is it got some really good reviews on the internet. And two, I love the way this thing looks, and I still get a lot of compliments on this particular seat. I think, looks-wise, this is as good as it gets.
For sure.
This is a 10 out of 10.
And you can get it customized depending where you order it. You can get like different color stitching and stuff.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Be careful with that, though, because if you were to do that and then switch bikes and switch the color of your bike, now you've got this seat that has stitching that may not match the color of the new bike. And
that's why you get more than one bike.
Sure, that's certainly an option. But when I bought this, I was glad I was able to take this off my 2019 Limited and put it on here. And I'm just like, here, you can have this brand new stock seat to put on the other bike that I was trading in. So that was nice to be able to take this off and put it on the new bike. But yeah, looks 100%, 10 out of 10. It's awesome. Stock seat, what are you ranking it?
Well, it's growing on me. I like I said, I wanted this one right off the bat. As soon as I upgraded to the Road King, I knew I wanted this seat after looking at all the different options. But you know what? It is what it is. It comes with the bike. It kind of reminds me of an English saddle because it's very like streamlined and basic. It will not detract from my bike whatsoever.
So I would give it a solid 4, maybe a 5 out of 10. It's an average seat. I mean, if you look at it, it doesn't stand out. It does its job. It's not offensive looking.
No.
But it's just there. So, yeah, you're getting a 4 out of 10, maybe a 5 out of 10. It's just, it serves a purpose, right? One thing to keep in mind, this is a cool looking seat, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
However, you don't see the seat when you're sitting on it. So keep that in mind. It's only going to add to the look of your bike when it's parked. The minute you're sitting on it, you are not going to care what it looks like. And that brings up a really important point, and that is our next criteria, the most important in my opinion. We say the best for last, and that is comfort. All right, comfort is everything when it comes to a seat, especially for a touring bike. Especially if you're doing anything like we do. We do tons and tons of 300-mile days. In fact, it's gotten to the point where if we're not riding at least 200-300 miles in a day, we're like, well, that was silly, right? She'll always say, like, is this it? This is all we're doing? So we love those 300-mile days, a lot of 500-mile days, and like I said, even some 1,000-mile days. Comfort is everything. This seat is advertised as the Road Sofa. It's supposed to be ultra comfortable. Now, this is where I tend to disagree, and I'm actually quite shocked. We don't try to be controversial here or anything like that, but I'm really shocked at the reviews that this seat has gotten in terms of comfort. Like, really shocked. I personally would rank this seat in terms of comfort at maybe a 5 or 6 out of 10. And I think that's being generous. And it really does, it changes as I've kind of gotten used to this seat. Your stock seat, what would you rank it?
I may be completely different. A lot of people do not like the stock seat, and I'm not talking the new ones in the newer models because I think they've gone like downhill with the stock seat you get, but that's just my opinion. In my opinion, I find it perfectly comfortable. I actually like it. I have no problems with the longer days, even with the iron butt ride, the 1,000 miles in one day. I was doing just fine. It's not like you were way better off than me. I had really no break-in. You do have a break-in period with this one. I know that's, they say, what, like a couple months or like 2,000 miles or something?
Yeah, 1 to 2,000 miles.
And you would say?
I would say that's a complete and total lie. I don't know how else to put it. So the stock seat, I would rank it, again, right around a 5 or a 6. I know you actually like it better than that.
I do. I would probably rate it like a 8 or 9.
I think that's a little high. I would go, it's an
fine.
average seat, 5, 6, but that's how I'm ranking this at. I'm ranking this at right around a 6 as well, and here's why. 1, rider backrest. I would prefer a lot more adjustability to the rider backrest. In fact, you have the Harley backrest on your bike sometimes, and I find it to be a lot more adjustable compared to this.
Yeah.
The second thing is this backrest, it's all the way down, and I still think it hits me too high in the back. There's a pretty decent amount of lumbar support and just the seat itself. The other thing is I think that break-in period is just, it's fiction. I made a huge mistake because, again, I bought this at Sturgis, and we had 1,100 miles home. I was miserable on this seat on the way home. And I remember I rode out there on a road Zeppelin, and it was fantastic. I come home on this thing, and I was dying. Like after 100, 150 miles, I'm like, I have to get off of this thing. I'm in pain. So you would think if the break-in period was really like around 1,000 miles, what they say, by the time I got home, I'm like, okay, this is getting better.
Yeah.
Again, there's about 22,000 miles on the seat. I did notice a minor improvement. So initially, this was a 1 out of 10, maybe a 2 out of 10 in terms of comfort. I absolutely hated this seat. I remember coming home and be like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to have to go get that road Zeppelin and just eat the $900 because I can't deal with this. I stuck with it more so out of cheapness and just perseverance. I really wanted to see, okay, what about 1,000, 2,000, 3,000? I would say after maybe 10,000 miles, I started to feel a difference where I'm like, okay, I don't need to get off of this seat right away when we're doing those 300-mile days. I did do the iron butt on this seat, but I also had a seat pad for part of that. I actually found it to be more annoying, so I took it off. So can you do the iron butts on this? Yes. Can you do the 500-mile day on it? Yeah, I think there are better options. If you're looking for ultimate comfort, I mean just the ultimate comfort, I really do love the Road Zeppelin seat. That's an air cushion seat. It's a wider seat. The problem is it's a taller seat as well. This one, not as tall. And so for me, again, I'm with boots on, 5'9", maybe slightly over with my boots. And I can easily flat foot this, even barefoot, it doesn't matter. But that Road Zeppelin seat, it was a much wider seat and much taller. And I remember like it was when I first got my 2019 with that Road Zeppelin, it was even one foot was kind of tippy-toe because it really brings you up off the frame of the motorcycle. So yeah, I know you've sat on it as a passenger. The back seat is not all that wide compared to the Road Zeppelin. And then even it's slightly wider than stock. I would say it's wider than stock, but I don't know if it's necessarily super comfortable.
No, not compared to the other one.
Yeah. The backrest for the passenger is somewhat taller from what I can remember, and so that's nice. But in terms of the overall comfort and like squishiness, now there are people out there who like this seat and don't discount those opinions. People who want a firmer seat, if that's something you're looking for, well then this might be for you. But if you want something with a little bit more cushion, a little bit wider, you might want to look at some of the other seats like Mustang. Certainly the Road Zeppelin, I can't speak highly enough about that seat other than the little bit of durability issues there, the fact that it was splitting. Yeah. But again, I am very surprised by the number of positive reviews that always seem to be on the internet about this. Cool looking, not the most comfortable in the world.
One thing I'd like to point out is, he said to me today, I'm used to my Road King special, I have no problems there. Would you like to get one of these too? That would be really tough. If I were to get one of these, it would be for looks only. The two negatives for me are the break-in period, the comfort, and then also with the rain, all that stitching is, wherever there's stitching, water's going to get in. So you have to have the cover on. If it's really windy, you're going to be afraid the cover's going to be coming off. I don't really have to worry about that with mine. So at this point, And then even like the backrest, it's not adjustable like mine is. You know, mine is like 10 ways to Sunday. So at this point, if you said, "Hey, you want one?" I'd probably be like, "Not right now."
Yeah, just stay with what you got.
Yeah.
Yeah, the backrest, there is some adjustability here, but it's not as
Not like
adjustable as yours. The other seat to look at, and you had one on your Softail Slim, is the Mustang seats. I like that one quite a bit as well, and those can be pretty nice looking. So that's just our opinion. Would love to hear from you. If you've got a seat you really love, share that in the comments section below. And if you want more information about this bike, check out that video in the upper right-hand corner. And if you want to know how to get a really good deal on a motorcycle, check out the video in the lower right-hand corner. As always, thanks for being here, and we'll see you next week. Ride safe, everyone.
Bye.